Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Concordia University's Forest Space. Thanks for joining us for today's event, Innovation Lab Challenges, Fall 2025 edition. We would like to begin by acknowledging that Concordia University is located on unceded Indigenous lands in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal. And we respect the continued connections with the past, the present, and future, and our ongoing relationships with Indigenous and other peoples within the Montreal community. And here at Force-Space, we work with our university community to help mobilize knowledge, co-creating daily activities that examine research questions and projects happening all across the university. We're running today's event as a live stream both to YouTube and via Zoom. And for those of you joining us via Zoom, we really welcome your comments and your questions. There'll be a Q&A period after the presentations. So if you have any of those, please pop those into the chat and we'll do our best to read those out. And for those of you here joining us in the space, again, during the Q&A period, just raise your hand. We'll run a microphone around so that everyone online can hear. Okay, with that, it's very much my pleasure to pass the microphone over to the director of the Innovation Lab, as well as strategic advisor of innovation and Faculty of Arts and Science, Ann-Louise Davidson. Ann-Louise, over to you.
Thank you, Doug. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the final presentations of the Fall 2025 Innovation Lab student cohort. Today, it's a really important day. Our students will be sharing their innovation challenges, not just the outcomes, but the stories that are behind them. You'll hear about the bumps in the road, the unexpected turns, the moments of courage as they learn to think and act like innovators. We are thrilled to show you what we've been up to. I can't even find the words to describe the pride I have in seeing our students grow into fully fledged, environmentally concerned and user-centered innovators. It's great to have an audience with whom we can share these promising innovations. I hear that there are members of the families present, so I want to highlight the presence of Neil's parents, Anne-Marie and Jean-Paul. Thank you for coming. Maya's family who traveled from the US, Helena, Julia, Claudia, James, and Keith, welcome. I'm glad the weather is still soft because sometimes it can be shocking. The Innovation Lab is a dynamic space, a kind of playground where students experiment, test ideas, and build their innovation skills in partnership with mentors, both from inside and outside the university. This semester, they took on 3 diverse challenges tackling complex topics like regenerative agriculture, cyberviolence, and virtual reality. They worked closely with our fantastic partners, Kirkview Farms, Stop Cyberviolence, and Twin Owl Bank, exploring new approaches to real-world problems. And I want to give a heartfelt thank you to our mentors who guided and inspired our teams, Mike McGilvery, Cora McGilvery, Emmanuel Lomonaco, Daniel Jasmin, Frank Loubaresse, and Tarek Boukalfi. Your dedication makes this work possible. Behind the scenes, a lot is happening, far too much to list in details, but I do want to highlight the outstanding work of our award-winning storyteller, Xuan Pelletier, who coaches the students for these presentations. And perhaps one of the most exciting updates, the Faculty of Arts and Science launched a brand new non-credit innovation mindset microprogram for incoming students, along with a new elective group in innovation mindset open to all current Concordia students. So if you want to get a taste of innovation, there are still spots available in ENOV 300 for the winter 2026. If you're really looking for a cool elective, this is your moment to enroll. So finally, after listening to the journey of our students, if you're interested in getting involved in the Innovation Lab, whether as a student, a mentor, or a partner, or a fellow, or if you have an idea for a challenge, we'd love to hear from you. So reach out to us. So without further ado, I will pass it on to most monsters on patrol in the digital world. Over to you.
This is Liam. Liam is only 9 years old. He struggles in silence against cyberbullying. Even when he's at home, surrounded by his family, sitting on a couch, he can still experience violence in real time. Cyberviolence doesn't end when school ends. It follows the victim home. It follows them into their bedroom.
Cyberbullying is a widespread, silent battle that 60% of children face. Unfortunately, researchers indicate that only 18% of them reach out for help from adults. The solution we bring forth today to address this crisis is having monsters on patrol in the digital world. Why monsters, you ask? Well, we use a game with monsters to beat bullies because it's ironic, and the intuitive designs make them a fun, kid-friendly way for children to share their real feelings. We are really grateful to have worked with our mentors for this project, Daniel, the director, and Tahani, the front-end developer and technical coordinator from Stop Cyberviolences in France. I'm Shreya, the team co-lead, and I worked on the technical development of Monster Messenger along with Jainam, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. This is Meng, the team co-lead who worked on Monster Moods with Mary Dedes, our visual designer, and Robin Dionne, who worked on production.
So Monster Moods is a game for children aged from 3 to 9-year-old. It encourages them to talk to an adult when they're facing a situation of discrimination or bullying. It was developed by psychologists, researchers, and nonprofits in France. The game supports children, teachers, and parents in recognizing and addressing emotional challenges at an early stage. Our challenge was to find a manufacturer to produce the game, find funding, and distribute the game throughout North America. Okay, Monster Moods is a simple game. There's 4 boards, and each represent a different everyday world. There are 15 tokens representing 30 emotions, and so the monsters are like either shy, happy, angry, excited, and many more. Monster Moods is played through imaginative roleplay, just like when children play Dollhouse. Children use the different characters to act out emotions, tell their story, and explore feelings in a natural and playful way.
We want every child to have access to this experience by keeping the game free for schools, health centers, and parents. Now let's talk about actually producing the game. We consulted several North American and Chinese game manufacturers to see the difference in prices to make the game. We soon realized why China has been the hub for mass production for the last 40 years. The cost differences were quite huge. Prices in North America could be 60 to 80 times as expensive per unit when compared to China. Next, we chose to ship by sea since it is also considerably cheaper than flying it in by airplane. The trade-off, however, is that it will take 3 months for delivery. We then planned our delivery options to different cities. We found a private delivery service named Sendle, which was cheaper than Canada Post. In fact, they were less expensive for 9 out of 10 Canadian cities. Now, of course, funding such a big operation is arguably the most important part, yet also the most difficult of the entire innovation project. What can we do to get sponsors to hand over their own money for a good cause? We did reach out to some funders and fire a few Hail Marys at them. However, we decided to focus more of our time on gaining exposure to make the project seem more attractive to our potential sponsors. For example, we already coordinated with CTV News and several schools across Montreal to do a segment where children will demonstrate and play the game. At the same time, the director of Stop Cyberviolences, Daniel Jasmine, got airtime with France's M6 news station, the 3rd most watched television network in the French-speaking world.
So until now, we've seen how awesome Monster Moods is. But an educational board game needs more than just a box. It needs a website to truly support and engage its users. Designing Monster Moods' online presence is critical to helping it thrive beyond the classroom and support emotional learning across the globe. How exactly does it do that, though? Well, a website builds credibility. It can instantly make our game look professional and trustworthy to parents and educators, and even allow us to share any real data or stats that prove its effectiveness. It also centralizes information by incorporating rules, videos, FAQs, updates, and printables all live in one easy-to-access place. It improves search visibility and gives media, reviewers, and educators a simple link to share. And finally, it becomes a hub for updates, expansions, donations, helping grow our audiences and organization. So before moving into the design, of course, I researched how other board game companies present their products online. As expected, most of them feature game photos, rules, promotional or instructional video, and occasionally information about the creators. I also reviewed and added to the Monster Moods and Stop Cyberviolence's existing media to ensure the website aligns with their brand and reinforces the organization's legitimacy. All that being done, I made sure Monster Moods' site clearly presented options to donate to Stop Cyberviolences and to order a game for free to support our communities, any form of media coverage, just like the news report in France that Robin just mentioned, and stats to build credibility, and to include the rules of the game, an about section, and social media links to centralize information and boost discoverability.
Although Liam shared his story with his parents, he has grown to the age of 13 and still has problems on his mind that he doesn't feel comfortable sharing with them. What if there was a tool for him to discuss these issues with perhaps an AI chatbot? Monster Messenger is a chatbot designed to help young people and their parents navigate cyberbullying and online safety. We built it to be multilingual and accessible to different user types. All conversations and data are stored securely, ensuring that young people can share sensitive information safely and confidentially. Our goal was to expand the platforms where the messenger is currently available. To do this, we built iOS and Android apps so users can access support directly from their phones. We used Capacitor, a native app compiler that works seamlessly with React. This allowed us to create a single code base that compiles to both iOS and Android, making development efficient and maintainable. When users install the app, they're welcomed into a personalized experience and are introduced to Betty, who is the star of our monster team. The chatbot greets them and guides them through understanding their situation. First, the chatbot collects context through structured questions. What's the message about? Who sent it? And how does it make you feel? Then, using AI analysis, it provides personalized advice based on educational resources developed with retrieval augmented generation or RAG. Finally, it offers ongoing support as users ask follow-up questions. The result is a 24/7 accessible resource that meets young people and their parents where they are, on their phones, in their language, addressing real digital safety challenges. To mitigate risks related to data privacy and AI ethics, we employ rigid guardrails for retrieving the verified documents with expert guidance, limited and anonymous data retention, and timely human intervention. So in the end, monsters stand with Liam against cyberbullying, enabling him to take back control and rewrite his story. Thank you for joining us today.
So for the people online, there's a small moment of silence. It's not Remembrance Day. It is because the farmer group should be setting up. You know, once in a while, farmers lose a calf somewhere, so they're probably running after the calf. Here we go. They found a calf.
For Space is just getting the slides ready. Hold on, everyone.
Imagine it's 8 p.m. on a cold winter night in rural Ontario. The countryside is completely dark. No streetlights, no glow from nearby towns. Out in the middle of the field, a farmer is refilling a 300-liter basin just to make sure his cows have water overnight. This is the reality for many regenerative agriculturists. Unlike large-scale industrial farms that rely on automation, regenerative agriculture requires a hands-on approach, one that often pushes farmers beyond their physical and mental limits. But what if we could change that? What if we could develop innovative, affordable solutions that empower these farmers while preserving the integrity of their work? My name is Parsa. This is Vaishnavi, Niall, Tommy, and Maya. We're an interdisciplinary group of engineers, designers, and coders who are taking on this challenge. We'd like to begin by thanking our mentors, Mike, Cora, Emmanuel, and Ann-Louise, for allowing us to enter their world and guiding us throughout this process. Without Kirkview Farms, this project wouldn't have been able to come to fruition. Kirkview Farms is a multi-generational farm starting in 1796 in Dalkeith, Ontario. They practice regenerative, organic farming on over 200 acres of land to improve food, environment, and community health. So, what is regenerative agriculture? Well, it's not just a farming method. It's a broader philosophy of working with the environment. Regenerative agriculture embraces natural ecological cycles rather than forcing a single technique. It focuses on generating nutrient-rich food, reducing emissions, improving soil and crop health, and creating long-term, self-sustaining farms. Rotational grazing is a core practice in regenerative agriculture. Livestock is rotated through multiple paddocks, which allows grazed areas to rest while improving vegetation growth and ecosystem health. This results in healthier herds and more efficient uses of land. However, this also introduces new challenges. For example, daily rotation places these animals far beyond the farmer's visibility and reach. During this semester, we spent time observing and working directly on the farm. Being on site helped us understand the real needs of regenerative farmers while testing our ideas on the ground. We identified certain challenges, which include the daily cattle rotation, which requires intensive labor, small calves that can wander out of sight in tall grass or woods, and water basins that need constant refilling.
So to start with, we mainly recognize three main challenges. First is Wi-Fi mesh network to expand Wi-Fi on the remote areas in and around the farm. Second is water level sensors for water level tracking and thermal camera for cattle tracking. So Kirkview Farm is a farm which spans around 300 acres across a challenging terrain. So our first challenge was to establish reliable Wi-Fi network connectivity where it didn't exist. Without a robust mesh Wi-Fi network, you cannot even think of monitoring infrastructure. So to start with, we did it in three phases. The first phase was a foundational phase. We began establishing Wi-Fi in the main house and at the critical places around the house. We selected the TP-Link as our trusted partner for consistency and reliability. This gave us our foundation, a reliable network connectivity backbone. Phase 2 was the network expansion. In phase 2, we expanded the network near main house and the areas around such as store, barn, garden, etc. Throughout this challenge, in the second phase, we also introduced different connectivity devices such as cameras and monitoring devices. Now, why TP-Link for everything? The main reason is integration. All Wi-Fi devices, access point, bridge, even the camera ecosystem everything can be operated seamlessly through Omada app. It's a unified management platform which Mike can access anywhere and everywhere through his phone. Next comes phase 3. Now, phase 3 was extending the Wi-Fi coverage to the Sugar Shack. This is where it truly gets innovative because Sugar Shack sits at around 1.5 kilometer distance from the main house, which you can see in the image, and it's right at the edge of forest where there is no electricity. Now, there comes the main challenge because it's not just the distance, but there is completely absence of the grid electricity at the Sugar Shack. We solved this with a sustainable off-grid solution, which is a solar-powered battery system, which now powers the entire Sugar Shack, Wi-Fi, and camera infrastructure. This means zero dependency on grid electricity, which is at a remote location, continuous renewable power for 24/7 for monitoring and connectivity. And it also aligns with our regenerative principles, which is using clean energy to support sustainable farming. Once we had reliable power and Wi-Fi, we deployed cameras at the Sugar Shack to monitor and detect the predators at forest edge in real time. There you go. Now Mike has complete visibility and control from his phone. Through Omada app coverage, he can have all the view of network range, signal strength, device connectivity throughout the area of the farm. He also has a real-time monitoring. He has camera feeds through the TP-Link app where he can monitor the livestock and also detect the predators instantly so that he can take actions. And this is also sustainable and scalable because off-grid solar model proves that the advanced farm technology does not require extensive infrastructure. It can be deployed anywhere with renewable energy. And there you go. This is regenerative agriculture powered by regenerative technology, a complete ecosystem where technology and sustainability are inseparable.
So I'll talk about our second challenge, the water level monitor. So Parsa earlier talked about rotational grazing, which is where you move livestock to fresh pasture when they finish eating all the vegetation where they are. But what about the water? There's no well out there, there's no tap. So Mike has to haul all the water to the cows manually. Now here's what Mike's working with. An 800-liter tub on the back of a pickup truck. He's got to travel up to 12 kilometers in rough terrain, sometimes twice a day in the summer heat, to bring the water to the cows. So when we asked Mike what problems he was facing, he said that being able to know when their water was empty would be very helpful. It would save him trips back and forth, and it would make sure that the cows never go without water. Now there's some challenges to this. There's no Wi-Fi out there for easy communication, and whatever we install has to be very durable. It's got to have protection against the elements, sun, wind, rain, snow, etc. So when we looked at the commercial options available, they were very expensive. They start at around $500 and of course have a monthly subscription. So we thought we can do better than that, and we did. For around $150, we have an open source device which lets Mike monitor the water level in real time and will send alerts when it's empty. And we created a step-by-step guide so that anyone can make it. Now I'll let Tommy tell you how we did it.
Thank you, Niall. So here is the design of our prototype. We designed the system with the needs of regenerative farmers in mind. That means it has to be highly versatile and able to adapt to shifting conditions. Here it is now clamped to one of the smaller basins of the cows. There were a few available options to us to measure the water level, like e-tape or a floating device. But to keep it both versatile and low cost, we went with an ultrasonic sensor. This gets the water by bouncing waves off the surface of the water and reading the time it takes to come back up. What makes our monitoring device unique though, it's its use of LTE connectivity to send real-time alerts directly to the farmer. This is crucial for regenerative operations where livestock are frequently moved and graze beyond the limits of Wi-Fi networks. Upon examining existing products, we found that they were either way too expensive or beyond the range of, they go beyond the range of Wi-Fi mesh. Just think how bad your Wi-Fi is at home, or at work, or wherever. Now imagine adding 12 kilometers of distance between yourself and the Wi-Fi router. We completely removed that bottleneck. Now I will pass it on to Maya to discuss our final solution.
Hey guys, so our third and final solution is a thermal camera. So like we were talking about earlier, when herds are moved between pastures, oftentimes smaller cows and calves can slip under the fence or get lost in the tall grass. And this is actually a big loss for farmers. We were getting numbers for calves costing anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, and that's not even including the manpower included in that. So we were hearing from Mike, sometimes he was spending like 12 hours per person searching for a calf. So after kind of looking at this problem from a couple different angles, we found that we didn't really need to track each individual calf. We more needed a faster and better way to find the calves when they were gone. We found that thermal imaging is being used in wildlife observation and in hunting to find animals in night, from long distances, and in dense brush. Here you can see a photo of a bird up in a tree from around 100 meters away. So that's pretty powerful technology. With that in mind, we had a couple specifications for this particular use case that we needed when we're looking for thermal cameras. Number one is that it needed to be long range. So our number was around 500 meters. So this is a pretty like mid-range thermal camera. Number two, it needed to be able to see in dense brush. So this is a real photo of the farm. As you can see, sometimes the cows get lost in grass that's like a couple feet tall. So we needed to be able to somewhat see in that grass. And this translated to a higher resolution of around 384 by 288. Number three, it needed to be affordable. So our number was under $1,500 CAD, and that's actually kind of difficult to find a good camera that is that cheap. That's pretty good for a thermal camera. So we did have to do some bargain hunting, and we ended up with the Oleksiy Optics TNV30. So this is a great camera. It's got a great detection distance, good resolution, great battery life, and it stands up really well in rugged conditions. So like with mud and dampness and cold. So that's our third challenge. Now we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the future of the farming challenge. So first we wanted to refine the design of the water level sensor, make sure that it stands up in different types of weather and that it can endure over long periods of time. Number two, we wanted to scale the impact. So this means making multiple sensors for different basins on the farm and seeing how they all work together. Number three, we wanted to test and share our observations. So this is about all of them, but particularly about the thermal camera. We wanted to make sure that, or see the return on investment and share that with other people that have similar problems. So thank you guys very much. This is an image of us looking whimsically off into the beautiful forest of Kirkview Farms. I know I speak on behalf of my whole team saying that we're really excited for the future of this challenge. So thank you guys.
Okay, just a moment while we transition to the next group and get their slides ready. Come on up, everyone.
Okay, hi everyone. So we started this project 1 year ago based on one quite simple observation, is that reading is dying. Not because the stories became weaker, but because the format never evolved. So let's look at cinema, for example. Sound arrived first, then color, then VFX, you know now, it's like impossible, can be created out of nowhere with special effects. And then digital, more widely, you know, like streaming with Netflix and all these platforms. So yeah, and then if we look at paper, at reading, it's basically paper, and at some point, digital arrived, but it's basically PDF. You know, you scroll on a Kindle, and the experience is pretty flat. So we decided to make digital reading something a bit more fun, a bit more up to date, let's say. So now the PDF actually become a 3D book where you can flip the pages and you have animated stuff, it's actually become an interactive and let's say 2025 experience, if not even more futuristic. So we made it many people who haven't tried it, tried virtual reality before, because obviously it runs in these new devices, augmented reality glasses, and in the future, and currently in the headsets. And so very easy to use, and you can actually even get immersed into the story of the environment, as you can see in this left video. So yeah, the stories really become much more immersive. And so basically just a few facts on what reading is today. Basically, there's a big issue with piracy. So this is one of the main issues in the industry right now, for the main reason that, well, PDF is easily copied and basically pasted in illegal websites. And overall, people went into digital because accessibility and it's cheap, etc. But if you look at readers, they're not super satisfied by it. 70% of Gen Z actually prefer paper, but it's expensive, it's not accessible, it takes space, and they also want to connect, but same. The issue with the physical is that they go to Comic-Cons, etc., conventions, but it's expensive, it takes time, etc. So digital is definitely the new way, but it's just limited. And for creators as well, there is an AI threat that basically, well, to make a PDF, it becomes more and more easy with generative AI. And overall, the communities are kind of fragmented within all social medias, etc. So it's quite hard for creators to connect with their fans. And so our goal is to create a full ecosystem. So it's a place where you can discover, obviously, new artists, new content, but also have immersive content. So like you're within the book has animations, the book has 3D stuff going on, and also immersive sound. So you're literally like inside the story. And you can also collect, which is something you used to do in the physical world for many people, but it's not possible in the digital world currently. But now it's going to be possible again. So you can have a 3D figurine, you can place it in your environment, you can have your 3D books, you place it like 1, 2, 3, 4 like chapters by side. So all the cool stuff about reading, right? And you can actually now connect again. So you don't need to take your car 2 hours away. You can actually put your headset and connect with other fans. And the idea is to create even full conventions, but virtually. And yeah, quickly on why VR, besides the fact that the device is great, for immersion, is also that it's becoming more and more adopted. People are getting used to these technologies. So we really want to, go in this trend, and we believe it's going to be in the future a mainstream device. And I will let Oleksiy talk about our wonderful team working on this project.
Hello, my name is Oleksiy, and I've been a team lead in reality in Unity application. Of course, we have Arthur, our CEO / head of marketing, and with me on Unity, there are Alessandro and David, who worked as developers, Dorsa, who is an environment designer, and on the backend and front-end client on the web application, it's Alex and Cash, who has developed a great experience. And now we're going to talk a little bit about our mentors. We're very grateful to Tariq and Frank, who dedicated every Friday for us, mentoring and answering our questions, as well as Ann-Louise, who has been there for a long time, mentoring us how to innovate and how to make sure that our product is useful to our users. I would love to start presenting the rollout and what we have actually achieved within the last semester. And to start, I'll pass it to David, who will be talking about our tutorial.
Thank you, Oleksiy. In preparation for our actual deployment, we have designed a step-by-step tutorial which the user can go through And this includes every action the user can take, including grabbing the book, turning a page, all the essential actions the user has to do to actually enjoy the reading experience. And that reading experience, I'll pass it on again to Oleksiy, which he'll talk about.
Yeah. So when it comes to user experience, it is a simple truth that if experience isn't pleasant, users tend to leave. And virtual reality is even less forgiving because you're immersed in it and you don't have ways to escape. Every little annoyance is amplified. Because of that, we focused a lot on making the interactions as smooth and enjoyable as possible. We worked on how you scale the book up and down. We worked on how you move it around. We worked on how you turn the pages so that it's seamless and almost invisible, because all of those are the main interactions that we expect user to do, like almost every minute or so. Aside from that, we improved the quality of the textures. They look more like real-life books, as well as, while improving everything visually, we reduced the computational cost, so the application became more performant, which is essential in virtual reality because there is a certain threshold of frame rate. When the frame rate drops, the users get to become very dizzy and have difficulties using the virtual reality, and we have overcame that problem. And of course, a book is relatively a small part of the VR world, and there is a huge environment around you, and I will let Dorsa present what we have achieved on that side.
So imagine reading your book in here. It must be nice, right? Especially if it's freezing in Montreal. So this is the new environment that we've created for readers to immerse themselves into while they're reading their book. The goal was to create a space that is relaxing, it's alive, and it has a narrative behind it. That's why we shaped it as the Lotus Sanctuary. Instead of having just one reading spot, this space has multiple areas, which each one has a different mood, so you can teleport between them and choose what feels right for you. You can also teleport anywhere else on the island to discover if you're taking a break from reading and shape your own experience. So there are small animations like the little animals and birds, and there is sound effects, and there are shaders like the water and wind shader to make the space feel more dynamic. The art style is kept low poly, and we made sure that the environment is optimized and it runs smoothly in VR. Overall, all of these details help to make the sanctuary feel like it has its own life happening around you while you're reading your book without it being distracting. This is what has been done on the Unity side. So now Alessandro will talk about how he has made this connection to the server.
Okay, so right now with this new phase, we've accomplished one other big step, and that's making sure that we can dynamically load things from the back end to the client side. So that means the client has access to only the environments, to only the comic books, and the other things that are linked to their accounts. One big step to that is that we finally got token authentication to work, so we can keep track who's logging in, on what device, and what do they have access to in the back end. That took a lot more than that took a longer time than expected, but we eventually got it to work, and that's what matters. And yeah, so what happens is that after the user logs in into the account, the backend immediately knows what the user has access to. And then we use API calls to take all their information and we make sure we check first, of course, to see what they've already downloaded. And then whether things that they request, we can take it from the backend and download it seamlessly into the user's account. And so that way, all their environments will immediately just pop up in their menus. So we're trying to make it seamless, and that is the main focus, where all of this happens almost automatically, so it takes little effort from the user. So the user doesn't have to remember their username or password, or have to send an email because they forgot that password and they wrote it down somewhere, but they don't know where. All they have to do now is they have to just put on the headsets, and everything will seamlessly log in, and they can just download everything, because that is the goal of this project. We want to create a seamless and easy to use application, because we want to get more people into using VR and more people into using this application. And one of the biggest challenges is that sometimes VR seems high tech, high complicated. So we need to make sure it's easy to use, easy to understand, and easy to access. And so we're hoping that this is a big step to finally get the back end to work, because once that's done, we can start thinking about subscriptions. We can start thinking about paid content. We can start thinking about a lot of the more functionalities to get a subscription service or subscription app like this to work. And yeah, this was a really big step in it. And it took some coordination with the backend team. But yeah, that was, I enjoyed that, because it showed that proper communication and knowing what questions to ask especially is very important to making sure everything works together. And it took a lot longer than anticipated, and sometimes the builds would crash for no reason, and I had no idea why. That was fun, but it showed trying to work through it and working through it. It showed it taught a lot of us perseverance, it taught us patience, and it taught us to consider questions that we haven't considered before, and it taught us to always check every little checkbox in the long list to see if one for some reason breaks it for no reason. And yeah, that's where I learned. That was my experience. And now I'll pass it to Cash.
Yes, thank you. So so as Alessandro alluded to, we're gonna switch our focus, and we're gonna look at how our application is serving the content creators. So as developers, our goal is to make sure that the process is as smooth and straightforward as possible, because as Oleksiy mentioned, if the process is not straightforward, if the website design is poor, and if the workflow doesn't make sense, no matter how great the VR experience is, the creators won't be using the application. So that's where our platform comes in. So using the website that we've built, the creators can simply create their accounts, they can sign in, they can create their comic series, and they can add individual episodes under those series. They're able to publish their series and make them available to the readers so that they can enjoy the comic and the beautiful environment that Dorsa created. For the individual episodes, they're able to add as many pages as they need, essentially as many graphic art files as they want. They're also able to select tags and categories for their series and their episodes, so their readers can later on discover them more easily. Another important aspect from the, again, creators' perspective is the transparency around money and earnings. So using their websites, they can go to their account settings and see their creator wallet, and this way they can track the earnings associated with the content that they created. But that's just the beginning. We're already working on additional features, such as adding sound effects and voiceovers to the individual pages of their comics. So we believe that this will make the experience even more immersive and alive. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Alex, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the back.
All right, so we've effectively completed the pipeline between the headset and the creator. Basically splitting it between the creator portal and then the user headset. We have the user perspective and the creator perspective. The creator now has the ability to manage all their content, but can also control when it's released. We have the availability to publish at a certain date if they want to release something later. They can also handle it as an organization. If they want to roll out to 10 headsets at once to a particular organization, they can do that as well. And then from the user perspective, they can now fetch the content from the backend directly that is tied to their individual user. So only if they own it, they can get it, as we have a sophisticated authentication process between the headset and the backend, as well as the currency exchange process for purchasing those assets. I'll pass to Arthur now to talk about our current supporters.
Yeah, so while we're building this, my goal was to get also like traction from, well, you know, people in Montreal, in Quebec overall. So we got some publishers and independent creators. So Les 400 Coups, we're already working with them since a while now, but now Moelle Graphique, Édition Michel Quentin, they're all interested to work with us. So that's what we are building, you know, on the back end so that they can publish their work. Same with independent creators who also are already publishing stuff online, but now want, you know, these advantages of making it more immersive, etc. And we're planning a pilot project beginning of 2026 with the public libraries of Quebec to have basically immersive spaces in libraries. So we're basically working on the technical part on how to make this happen, but they're very, very enthusiastic on this idea. And I want to thank Zoo as well, Zoo Incubator, who pushed us all along this semester on building more like the business side, etc. But yeah, and I guess at Reality, what we're really thinking is not just reimagining the future of storytelling, but we really want to build it. And so you can just follow our progress on vidality.com or on our LinkedIn. And if you're here in the fourth space, you can actually try our beta app at the end of the event. And yeah, we're excited to show you. Thank you very much.
Okay, actually, maybe we can start with the comments from the mentors. Maybe I will call back Monsters and Patrol on stage and just listen to the mentors' reaction or questions or.
Thanks, Ann-Louise. Yes, also, mentors, we see you on our big screen, so you can unmute your mics and speak freely, and the teams will see you. But yeah, if you could invite Monsters on Patrol up to the front so that mentors can see you as well and the light's better. Great.
Yeah.
And just speak into the mic.
At first, thank you very much for this presentation on your work during all this semester. You are doing a really great job on. We make a long journey together with a lot of bump, as you say, Ann-Louise. But I'm really happy where we are. And thank you for the quality of the presentation. I just wanted to ask you some question about how you forecast what's the future of what's the next step you see from the game on the application for maybe another team for the next semester, or what you think could be done next.
I think on the messenger side, we definitely have a few things that we could do is actually making sure we address all the comments from iOS and Android, like store team comments, and making the app available. So production side has a lot of work, and then also we have some parts where we have to address, like deploying the app for adult, like parents who are using the application on their phones. So those things on the side for Messenger. I think for moods, I'll let Robin and Mary speak.
Well, we have some contacts with the news in different schools, and we would pass those contact information on to the next team, and kind of give them a bit. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to have like a meeting just to bring them up to speed so they know what's going on. Yeah, and as well as the manufacturer data. Give them, I mean, you already know, Daniel, which manufacturers, like I've given a bunch of them to you, but I would also share that with them as well, just so they can see the work that's been done and they don't have to reinvent the wheel.
I would also say in terms of like the website, I do also have like, of course, like I mentioned to you, Danielle, I have another version coming up, like a more developed one, which if ever you hire a website designer, they can use that as reference as well. And I also think it would be great to add create more assets like photos, etc., and videos of the game to kind of add that as promotional material so that you can really, really propel it further and really get people to really, really see the game.
Thank you very much. Maybe if there are other questions from the room, we'll be more than happy to answer.
Actually, Danielle, I'm going to hand it over to the AgriPulse group because we're running very
Okay.
tight. Another half hour in person, so just so that I respect everybody's time. I know that Mike is still online and he probably has animals to take care of, so maybe we'll hand it over to him.
Hi, team. Great presentation. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Davidson and for Parsa and everybody on the team. You guys did an amazing job. This is I think our third one now, and it keeps getting better and better each time. And the dedication that this team showed in meeting the objectives of the challenge was great. I think people don't understand from a farmer's point of view. For me to do the research to figure out which thermal camera works best, and again, we put a limitation on from spending point of view. What camera would meet those needs? It would take me a long time, and honestly, I can't tell you one from the other. So, but figuring out the resolutions and the distances, they did a great job of understanding the challenge, and then providing a solution that met all the requirements. So, kudos to the team for all their work. And then on the water sensor, doing an open source thing like this, it saves farmers money and it saves us time. Time is, of course, money, and it's something that we just can't create more of without doing some technology. So instead of having somebody go out 3-4 times a day to check the water tubs, we know, okay, because you could go out and check the water tubs now, and then the herd comes in, and in 15 minutes, the tubs are all empty. So having that to know that, because you go there and, in the summer, it's really critical. You want to make sure that the animals have lots of water. So, you folks did an amazing job. So kudos. Keep up the great work.
Before you leave, Mike, I wonder if you want to do a small announcement about the Christmas market at Kirkview Farms.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if anybody has gone to a real Christmas market. We all go to Christmas markets in town, but this one is like a real animal, local vendors, organic pasture-raised meat available. So maybe, Mike, just a little promo
I'll
so that...
do a little promo pitch. So so we have our Santa in the Stable market. It is on December 13th here at the farm from 10 to 2 p.m. We have a lot of great vendors, local folks that will be coming and joining us. We'll have Santa in the stable, so people can come get pictures with Santa. And you get to see the animals and get to interact with, it's a really fun environment. So if you haven't had a chance to come out to a farm, this gives you the opportunity and to buy some of those last minute Christmas gifts. If you're like me, I'm last minute, so.
Yeah. So if you want to know, Kirkview Farms is in Ontario, off of Highway 417. So head over east from Montreal, get out at Herb's gas station, and Dalkeith is 8 minutes south.
And for all you Quebec folks, they have really cheap gas.
That's where you get the cheap gas. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you, Mike. We'll head over to... Oh, yeah. Congratulations, everybody. Forgot to clap. We'll hand it over to the Reality. I know Tarek is online, so over to you, Tarek.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would like to thank the team for the hard work they put on the project, and I'm pretty amazed and happy to see what a small team can achieve, and working part-time on the project, a small team can achieve with so much dedication and commitment. So I'm really happy to see the project coming to fruition, I could say. So yeah, that's great.
All right, Tarek. You have an answer?
Should I say something? No, but yes, I want to thank Tarek. Like he's been there like literally like every Friday. Like he's so consistent. So I really want to thank Tarek about the like on this throughout the summer semester as well. We didn't have a presentation for this, but He was there the whole summer as well. We kept working on the project. So since the beginning, I think it gives a lot of confidence to the technical team. You know, sometimes it's not only about just solving a specific issue. It's just about saying like you're going on the right track. And I would say, especially in VR, there are not that many resources. You know, it's a new market, it's a new device, etc. So it's not that easy for developers to develop stuff for VR. And Tariq has huge expertise, and so when we're doing well, he's like, yeah, this is good. Like keep going in this direction. I mean, very, very, very like important to have someone like him supporting the project. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Are there any questions or comments from the audience? And maybe I can let Natalie or Doug handle it from that side.
Yes, we can handle that. If anyone has any comments, questions, shout outs, just raise your hand. We'll run the microphone over. Also, anyone joining us on Zoom, we can read them out.
Actually, I'm sorry to butt in. I just realized that Frank is here. So apologies for that. I didn't notice that he had appeared. Do you have any comments or questions, Frank, or ideas for further development?
No, good morning. No, I was like Tari, very impressed by what I saw, and I'm very excited to see when it will be launched, how the reader will be exciting about reading a new way of reading a comic. So I'm a fan of comics, so I'm sure that will be great.
Thank you. I also want to mention that Frank and Daniel and his ally are showing up from France. So we're working on several time zones here. All right, over to the crowd. Sorry about that.
Yeah, any comment? Oh, I see a hand here. Hold on.
If we wanted to get this like in our library in Virginia, would we look up readability online or contact the Innovation Center, or how do we?
Yeah, no, you can look at readability.com. I mean, you can just exchange contact, and that would be easier. But yeah, you can. I mean, do you have the device at home?
Well,
So
I have one. I have one that I just put my
phone
on, so it's probably not the real thing. But we have library systems that might want something like that in our counties or cities.
100%.
That would be cool.
Yeah. We can talk about it for sure. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? I think that's it.
All right, so I'll take it from here. So thank you all for joining us today and for supporting our student innovators. What we've seen this morning is really the result of months of curiosity, collaboration, and bold experimentation. These final presentations are more than just projects. They're really a reflection of what happens when students are given space to take risks, make mistakes, and God forbid, this is what we don't want to do in education usually, but that's the only thing I'm an expert at, and grow through the process. Each team showed not only just their creativity and critical thinking, but also their ability to collaborate with each other, with mentors, with community partners, develop ideas that are both meaningful and impactful. So to Natalie, our coordinator, thank you for your dedication and most importantly for your patience with us. To our students, thank you for your, to our students, thank you for your energy, your ideas, and your courage. And again, round of applause. And to our mentors and partners, thank you for your generosity and belief in this process. And to everyone here today.
Ann-Louise?
Yes.
Can I interrupt for a moment? Sorry. We all want to thank Ann-Louise for her dedication to this. As a professor, she's incredibly busy, but she saw something great with the Innovation Lab, and she has made it great. And I think all of the students of the last 5 years have had an extraordinary experience because there was a professor who took time that she didn't have. So time for sleep to make something like this work. So thank you, Ann-Louise.
So as we wrap up with the fall 2025 cycle of the Innovation Lab, remember, innovation is not a destination. It's not even a journey. It's a mindset, one that grows with every challenge you take on. And if you're a person, if you are in person right now and you wish to have the VR experience, by all means, please take it, because this is your opportunity to enter into a magical environment. So what can I say? Stay curious, stay connected, stay foolish, and most importantly, keep asking what if. I wish I was with you today. I was at the Museum of Fine Arts of Canada yesterday, the National Art Gallery of Canada yesterday, because I'll be storytelling in February, and there's a big winter exhibit that launched, and I had to be part of the opening. So I really would wish to be there, especially to meet you, but also to have some snacks. So we hope to see you in the next round of innovation. Enjoy the coffee and the snacks, and we'll see you very soon. Over to you.
Thanks, Ann-Louise. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, all the great teams. I'm not going to talk about this much. It was great having you here in the space. We're going to close up the Zoom and the live stream now, so say goodbye there. But just know that this remains available on our YouTube channel, and you can revisit, you can share it, and you can find out more that way. But also, you should have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, mentors. You were awesome. We'll see you soon.